You ever notice how a smile can hide a knife? Yeah, I didn't either. At least, not until the day someone tried to take my home with a handshake and a brochure. You know what's wild? You spend your whole life thinking all the real trouble is out in the world somewhere, and then one day, it shows up in a pencil skirt and designer heels, walking up your porch steps with a stack of paperwork and a practiced $1 million grin. Let me tell you, this isn't just a story about a house. It's a story about a fight, one that nobody sees coming, not until it's right in your face. This place, it's more than wood and bricks to me. My parents built this house, every beam and board, back when the street out front was still dirt and you could hear frogs at night. It's a big, rambling old farmhouse, 3 stories with a porch that wraps the whole way around, and trees that were taller than me before I was tall enough to climb them. After Mom passed, and Dad a few years later, it came to me, no mortgage, no drama, just family history and more weeds than one man should ever have to pull. My wife and I, we didn't look for the shiny new neighborhood, didn't want some soulless eco-home. We poured everything into this old place, savings, overtime, even the kids' college fund, probably if I'm being honest. We built a workshop out back, landscaped the whole yard by hand, installed a pool with a stone patio where my wife could plant her roses and the kids could cannonball for hours. I put up a treehouse, raised vegetable beds, the works. It's a piece of us, this house, every scratch and patch, every nail I bent and hammered straight. Our 2 oldest are teenagers now, both fighting for the best bathroom in the morning, and our little girl still thinks I'm a superhero just because I can fix her chain when it pops off her bike. Every corner has a story. Every inch is memory. A couple years back, some corporate HOA tried to sweep in, buy up the last old houses, and replace them with community-friendly matchboxes. They flashed a decent check, but we all said no, me, my neighbors, all of us who still remembered the way things used to be. My brother Caleb, who just happens to be the best damn lawyer I know, helped us put a stop to that. Peace, right? Or so we thought. Then the whispers started, a new face in the neighborhood. All the guys, especially the single ones, suddenly talking about someone named Karen. I figured, all right, someone new, whatever. But the way they buzzed, you'd think the prom queen had moved in. Then I saw her, stepping out of a gleaming silver Audi, heels sharp enough to slice bread, hair so perfect you'd think it had its own PR agent. She owned every step she took. And the fellas, well, if you've seen grown men turn into schoolboys, you know exactly what I mean. It wasn't long before I found out she was the new face of that HOA. Not the anonymous suits anymore. Karen, charisma, charm, and enough confidence to sell water to a fish. She hosted block parties, got local businesses involved, made her little part of the neighborhood look like it belonged on the cover of a home and garden magazine. Even some of the folks I'd fought alongside in court started singing her praises. I kept my distance. I've got a wife, kids, no time for drama or neighborhood politics. But Karen, she didn't like being ignored. That's when she came knocking. Literally, one afternoon, I'm elbow deep fixing a gate, and here she is at my door. She dressed for it, too, lip gloss, just enough blouse buttons undone to make a statement, but not enough to cause a scandal. You must be the famous holdout, she purred. I just leaned on the frame and said, and you must be the infamous Karen. She laughed, light, musical, calculated. She launched right into the pitch, waving a glossy brochure at me. Perks, amenities, low dues, new pool, revitalized district, blah blah blah. But the kicker? She wanted me to swap my 3-story home, the one I'd spent half my life fixing, for some 2-story, eco-efficient shoebox in their subdivision. She actually held up the pamphlet, my name printed on it, all neat, like she was Santa and I was the world's luckiest kid. This one's for you, literally, she winked. I'll admit, she was good. Smooth as butter, the way she talked, you'd think you were an idiot not to jump at it. But I wasn't born yesterday. I took her brochure, smiled, told her I'd talk it over with my wife, mostly just to get her off my porch. But as she walked away, I had this feeling in my gut that something was off. Next morning, I tossed the brochure in the truck and picked up Greg, my buddy and a real estate appraiser. We drove out to this model home Karen was so proud of. One look at the place, and I felt my stomach drop. It was sad. All the houses were the same, identical beige boxes, each with a single stick of a tree and a patch of grass just big enough to mow, but not big enough to play on. No backyard, no workshop, no room for a dog to run, let alone 3 kids and a life. Greg just shook his head. You'd be trading down, way down. This isn't an offer, it's a hustle. That's when the Audi rolled up again. Karen steps out, those 2 goons with her, Guys built like refrigerators, stone-faced, wearing the kind of suits you rent for a funeral. She looked more annoyed than surprised to see me. "You're not allowed to be here," she snapped. "This is private HOA property." I held up the brochure. "You invited me." She pointed to the fine print. "Only HOA members allowed to tour the property." Classic. Then she switched gears, all sugar again. "So, have you made a decision?" I said, flat as a plank, "Yeah. I'm staying." Her face went cold. "Then you owe a $1,000 trespassing fine." Greg and I just left. But the way she watched us drive off, I knew we'd just drawn a line in the sand. 2 days later, I get a letter in the mail. Heavy cream envelope, HOA seal, real Game of Thrones vibes. Inside? Formal violation notice, $1,000 fine, plus daily penalties if unpaid. Photos, me and Greg, walking around that sad little house, looking like we were planning a heist. My wife just watched me pace the living room, paper crumpled in my fist. "Call her," she said. "Sort it before it gets worse." So I did. Got the HOA office, asked for Karen. When she picked up, her voice was honey and steel all at once. "I trust you received our notice." I told her straight up, "I'm not paying." She went from sweet to ice cold in a blink. "You violated the terms. There are consequences." I told her if she thought she could scare me with paperwork, she'd picked the wrong guy. She just laughed. "You'll change your mind. Everyone does." Thing is, I'd bruised her ego. I didn't know just how far she'd go to fix that. Next day, my son calls out from the porch. "Dad, there's a lady at the gate, says she knows you." Of course it's Karen, standing in my driveway with her 2 assistants. This time, she's all business, heels, suit, hair pulled back, smile nowhere to be found. She gives me an ultimatum: pay, apologize, let it go. I tell her what I think of that. She doesn't like it. Suddenly, she's hinting that her muscle might need to remind me how to be respectful. My kids come out on the porch, and for a second, Karen seems to realize this isn't the look she wants in public. She backs off, voice sugar again, says we'll talk in private. But I knew right then this had gone too far. That night, I couldn't sleep. My wife tried to calm me, but all I saw were those 2 guys, standing on my lawn, my daughter clutching her brother's hand. Some things you just don't let go. Next morning, I call Caleb. He gets on a flight, shows up in my driveway that night, laptop bag over his shoulder, ready for war. We work late, poring over every letter, every bylaw, every threat. He's quiet, focused, and then says, "She's not just a nuisance. She's dangerous." Next day, he disappears, says he needs to dig deeper, tells me to lay low, not to provoke her. 5 days go by. Nothing. Then his rental car screeches into my driveway, like the devil's behind him. He hands me a flash drive, tells me to call the cops, not the local ones. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. Turns out, Caleb had pulled off the con of the year. He'd met Karen in a coffee shop, played the part of a rich investor, let her wine and dine him, even let her seduce him. All the while, he was copying her files, emails, the works. Found enough dirt to put her away for life: fraud, fake invoices, embezzlement, blackmail, even corrupt cops and a judge in her pocket. Only thing, she figured it out. Came at him with a lamp, he barely made it out. Now she knew, and now she was coming for us. Barely had time to breathe before the Audi showed up. Karen, plus her 2 muscle, only this time, they're dressed like they mean business. She storms up, screaming for Caleb. He steps out beside me on the porch. Karen loses it, rants about betrayal, privacy, threatens us right there. Her goons circle, one at the front, one at the side gate, breaking glass, tearing open the door. I grab my old hunting shotgun, chamber a shell, step out on the balcony. I fire into the sky, birds scatter, the street goes dead silent. That was no bluff. The thugs bust in. One crashes through the bathroom, Caleb and I split up. There's chaos, broken furniture, fists, shouts, glass everywhere. Caleb takes one down with a fireplace poker. The other tackles him, starts to choke him out. I fire the shotgun into the wall, blast deafening, plaster spraying. Caleb elbows him. I hit him with the stock. He drops. Karen's still screaming outside. Sirens wail, lights flash. The cops come in fast, weapons drawn. Caleb and I hit the floor, hands up, hearts in our throats. But this wasn't the local department. Caleb made sure of that. A detective steps in, finds the flash drive, tells his team to arrest Karen. Conspiracy, assault, fraud, racketeering. Outside, Karen's putting on her usual show, but nobody's buying tickets anymore. In court, it all comes out: fraud, threats, laundering, payoffs. There's even an audio recording of her telling a goon to scare that stubborn idiot into paying or make him disappear. The jury doesn't take long. Karen's guilty, 20 years, no parole for 10. Her goons get 15 apiece. The whole HOA gets dismantled, board members indicted, the corrupt judge and 2 cops exposed and charged. Neighborhood finally breathes. A month later, I'm flipping burgers at a backyard party, music playing, neighbors laughing. Caleb's still here, wearing a dumb hat, sipping something cold, grinning like he won the lottery. He says, "Not every case ends with justice and barbecue." I laugh. "You're just mad you had to sleep with the villain to win." He just winks. My wife hugs me, says, "We made it." I look around at the lights, at my family, at the house still standing tall, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like we've already won. So tell me, how far would you go to stand your ground? When does community turn into control, and when is enough enough? Share your thoughts down below, stories, opinions, times you fought for what was right. I want to hear them. Because, trust me, you never really know what you're willing to defend until someone tries to take it from you with a smile.